This is the user flow for Bumble Roomiezz, my team's new roommate matching feature within Bumble. For this presentation and prototype, I am the user, Jennifer, and I will go through this prototype in first person. First, I start off in date mode, the dating section of Bumble. I am going to switch into a mode to look for roommates. So I click on my profile section and navigate to settings. I can see that I am currently in date mode. Upon clicking on the mode, I can see all the sections for different features within Bumble. There's date for dating, BFF for making friends, biz for networking, and our new section, roomies, for finding and connecting with roommates. As a separate note, I found that this screen within Bumble had low contrast. We ran it through a WCAG accessibility test and it failed because of the white text on yellow background. In my case study, I show the results of this test and recommend a text change to black. However, I left the original version within the prototype for brand consistency. I am going to continue to go to the roomies mode and then click done. I am now in the roomie section within Bumble. If I press the hamburger menu, I can see that I am currently in roomies mode. This side menu is another way to transition modes while I am using the app. Now that I am in roomies mode, the first thing I will do is edit my profile, which is what the public sees. So I click edit your profile and enter a screen where I can input my profile information. This is where a lot of our research comes in. As a designer, I determine the areas on this screen through our user interviews, competitive analysis, and examination of Bumble's current functionality. Here I, the user, see the pictures that are placed throughout my profile. And this is an account verified tag, which is in every section within Bumble, a way to show that I am a real person. I added a category for personality, habits, and lifestyle based on our user and competitive research, where users can add tags for their traits and living habits. There is a section for interests as well, because users want to room with someone with shared interests. Bumble offers profile prompts, which are predetermined questions that users can select and write answers through freeform text. I made some specific profile prompts for roomies, including what you would like your ideal roommate to be, what you're looking for out of a roommate relationship, and your communication preferences. The About Me section is a common Bumble section where I, as a user, can write a basic description through freeform text. Based on usability testing results, a recommendation that we have for Bumble is to move this section higher up within the screen to match its placement on the public profile. However, we kept it in its original spot for consistency. I can add my work and education, which users noted would be useful to know, but not necessarily something they would filter their search by. I have important information like my vaccination status, my gender, and my pronouns. There are also in These are also in other sections within Bumble. A new field that I, as a designer, put in is the place that I, as a user, am looking for housing and for a roommate. And this is the city that I currently live in, as well as the city where I originally come from. So I live and come from Sugarland, but am looking for housing and a new roommate in Houston. As a designer, I added maximum monthly budget, which is shown in a competitor app spare room, as well as wanted by all the users we interviewed. This way, I, as a user, can find roommates that match my monthly budget for housing. And based on our instructor's feedback, this would not be shown on my public profile because it could be sensitive information. These are all the categories that we determined were the most important for users to know and select roommates by based on our research. An important factor was whether or not the roommate smokes. We also decided to put drinking habits, which users indicated was not too important. However, this information is present within other sections of Bumble, so I thought it is something that can be easily ported over. Other important factors include pet ownership, cleanliness level, noise level, how often I have guests over, and work status, which indicates whether or not I work from home. And there's a way to connect my social media account, which is something that users wanted as well, such as my Instagram and my Spotify, so I can have some added color on my profile. These linked accounts are also within other sections of Bumble. Now, when I am done editing my profile, I can go back to see how this information is displayed to the public. Here is my main profile picture and information, including my name and age, which I inputted when I first signed up for Bumble, my occupation and education, as well as a tag that denotes I am in the Roomies section. This is the About Me description where I write that I'm looking for a roommate in Houston and prefer someone who doesn't smoke and has no pets since I have a dog. Later on, I will show you how I can specifically filter for roommates with these criteria. Here are their personality, habits, and lifestyle description tags, as well as interests and another photo. These are the major categories that are important for potential roommates to know, saying I never smoke, drink socially, have a pet, am moderately clean, have a quiet noise level, have occasional guests, and work from home. The yellow boxes include my profile prompts, including what I'm looking for from a roommate relationship, more photos, what my ideal roommate is like, more photos, and what my communication preferences are. At the bottom, potential roommates can see that I am currently in Sugarland based on geolocation, looking for housing and a roommate in Houston, and currently live and am originally from Sugarland. Now we're going to go back to the previous profile screen. I am going to navigate to the section where I can browse potential roommates. And first, I am going to set my filters. This screen contains Bumble Roomiezz basic filters. Bumble has two sections, basic filters, which are free common filters that users select, as well as advanced filters. In our usability test, users found it more intuitive to have filters on one screen, which we presented as a future recommendation for Bumble. For the design of our Roomies feature, we decided to stay consistent with Bumble's infrastructure and business model. Our basic filters include users' most prominent selection criteria for roommates based on Bumble's current functionality and our research. The first filter option is gender, as our users said they would look for either roommates of the same gender or no preference. As a user, I can filter by age because many users prefer a roommate who is at their same stage in life. I can select the distance between target cities, which means the distance between the place I am looking for housing and the place the potential roommate is looking. I can also choose to filter my roommates by their maximum monthly budget to make sure our financial expectations match. For age, distance, and budget, there is also a way to see more people if there are not enough results that match the filter range I set. Now let's take a look at our advanced filters. At the time of our project, Bumble only allows free users to pick up to 2 advanced filters, and the rest are only available to premium users. These filters include all the rest of the important selection criteria we came up with based on our research. These include whether or not the potential roommates have verified themselves, whether they smoke, whether they drink, how clean they are, how loud they are, how often they'll bring guests over, and whether or not they work from home. If you remember, I, as a user, do not want a smoking roommate, so I have selected never to smoking, and I have a dog, so I prefer someone with no pets and have this filter selected. Now that my basic and advanced filters are applied, I can go back and start browsing profiles. All the profiles that I will see will match the filters that I have set. The first potential roommate that pops up is Kayla. I can read her description, see her personality, habits, and lifestyle, look at her pictures, and see her information that she has set for her descriptive categories. Notice that Kayla never smokes and has no pets, which matches my filter selection criteria. I can see her profile prompt answers, and I see that she is looking for a roommate in Houston as well, lives in Webster, and is also from Sugarland. However, when I scroll back up, one thing that I notice is that Kayla does not have a verified profile. Otherwise, there will be a blue shield by her name. And so I decide to pass on this potential roommate and browse the next profile. I click the X to swipe left. The next roommate that I see is Juhi. Let's examine her profile. She has a blue shield by her name, so I know that she is verified by Bumble. I can read her description and look at her personality, habits, and lifestyle. Notice that she also sleeps early and occasionally parties, just like me. She also never smokes and has no pets, which are the filters that I set. And she says her ideal roommate is not a big partier, just like me. She is looking in Houston for housing. I decide that I want to connect with this potential roommate, so I click the heart to swipe right. Juhi has swiped right on my profile as well, so it's a match. Now it's time for me to introduce myself to my potential roommate. I can click on the quote to access a list of suggested openers that we as designers created. After our usability tests, one user suggested that we revise some of these openers with a greeting, which we would add for future iterations. In this case, as a user, I decide to ask, "What's your typical schedule?" So I click on that prompt. The message goes straight into Juhi's inbox automatically and starts a chat between me and Juhi. Now I can click the back arrow and I can look at my own inbox and read all my messages. This screen contains all the people that I matched with and all my messages in date mode, BFF mode, biz mode, and roomies mode. This includes my new chat history with Juhi as a potential roommate. Juhi has 24 hours to respond based on Bumble's functionality. This concludes the prototype for Bumble Roomies, our team's new proposed feature for Bumble. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, Jennifer Jiang, through email, LinkedIn, or the contact me form on my website. You can learn more about my process for creating this feature by reading through my case study. Thank you for viewing my presentation, and I hope to speak with you soon.